Hello my lovelies and welcome to my first YouTube video ever. Since I am new to this platform, my first video I wanted to do a get to know the Booktuber edition. So in this video I'm just going to talk a little bit about myself and also include bookish things about myself as well. So let's get into it. So first, if you are on other bookish platforms, you may recognize my face. I am at The Wild Reader on mainly any type of bookish social media platform that you could ever think of. I'm on Book Talk, Bookstagram, Threads, just kind of everywhere. So if you do recognize me, hello, and thank you for finding me on here. I really appreciate it, and I'm hoping that I can still continue to have the same friends I've had and also find new friends. My name is actually Lexi. Since I don't have my actual name in my platform ads, I don't actually know how many people know my real name, but it is Lexi. I am 26 years old and I live in Nebraska. This October marked 2 years of marriage with my wife, Shaylee, and we do have a 6-year-old son named Jackson. He is in preschool right now. Right now, I currently work as a CNA in a nursing home. I do only work part-time. I just recently went down on my hours because I do have a small bookish business. I make bookmarks, I make laminated and acrylic bookmarks, I make bookish stickers, Kindle accessories like dust plugs and wristlets, and I hope to grow my business, and as I grow, add more products into my shop because it is something that I'm very, very passionate about. I also just applied and got accepted into a college in Denver. I am, for right now, I am just doing a certificate in entrepreneurship because my ultimate life goal is to open a small bookshop and also sell my bookish goods that I do make. So I thought maybe having a little bit of some schooling about business would help me. And if that does go okay and like I do enjoy it, then I may look into getting my associates in business. And it's just, I have not decided yet until I get there, but the certificate is should be done all in 2025 because it's only about 2 semesters for the whole entire certificate. My anticipated YouTube posting schedule, I am wanting to do every Tuesday and every Saturday. So that is what I am anticipating. I've been doing research like the last couple of days, like with coming up with ideas. I watched some other creators' tips and tricks on starting a booktube and video ideas. And I also just have some ideas of my own and some that I have done on Book Talk, which is the bookish community on TikTok, that I would just like to redo. I don't know, I kind of felt like YouTube might be a better place for me because I do like to yap, and sometimes I'm not sure TikTok fully wants to watch a 10-minute video of me just running my mouth. So I figured I would try here. And I mean, if nobody watches these, that's fine because it's fun for me, and I've noticed it also helps me with like speaking because I am a very shy person. Like, I'm not somebody who puts myself out there. Like, I'm just very introverted. And I also think that this helps me a little bit. So you're probably here because this is a booktube. So let's get into bookish topics. I have been reading for as long as I can remember. I've had a couple years in my life where I just stopped reading, or I was mainly just reading poetry books. Poetry books are something that I really enjoy, especially in like darker times in my life. I found myself always reaching for poetry. I just feel like poetry books really just bring out the emotions. And if there is one thing that you need to know about me as a reader, I love emotional stuff. I love it. I love to cry. I love when books make me cry, but also I cry very easily. If I cry in a book, it's probably automatically 5 stars, but happy endings get me every time. I love a good happy ending and I will be just crying. And I'm not ashamed of it, okay? I'm not, because I'm also a Pisces, and like, if you know anything about a Pisces, we're criers, we're crybabies, and I'm okay with that. Like, I take pride in it, okay? So most of my reading is done on my Kindle. I just got the newest Kindle Paperwhite 12th gen, and I got it in the raspberry color, which I absolutely love. In the last year or two, I've been loving the color pink, so obsessed. Before this one, I had the 10th gen pink one. It wasn't called pink. I don't know. I bought it secondhand, um, but I didn't want to get rid of the pink one. So I was really hoping that the new Kindles this year would have a pink one. So I'm super excited about that. My old one was given to my sister, but it is on its last leg. Like, there was some days I was like, this Kindle is going to quit today, and I'm not going to be able to read on it. So I'm super glad that the new ones came out in pink this year. Otherwise, I don't know what I would have done. Basically, ever since I got a Kindle, especially the second half of this year, I have read everything on Kindle. Uh, everything. And I have always been a physical book girl. I love paperback books. Paperback books are my favorite. And I never thought I would be a Kindle girly. Like, for the longest time, I put off getting one because I just didn't know if I would like it. I got an iPad mini and I used that for book journaling, and I was also reading on it. And I was like, you know what, like, this isn't too bad. So then I decided to get a secondhand Kindle. Like, I didn't want to get a brand new one and not like it. So I ended up getting a secondhand one, ended up really liking it. And yeah, I never go anywhere without my Kindle. It is literally a part of me at this point. Like, I swear to God. My favorite genres to read are dark romance, thriller books, and dark academia books are really my favorite. So, like, mix that in with thrillers and dark romance, and like, that's like the perfect book. Um, I have not been reading fantasy as much as I used to. Like, I felt like I always read so much fantasy, like last year and the year before, but this year, like, I've just mainly been reading dark romance, thrillers, and just like contemporary romance, because I also love me some contemporary romance. So I wanted to show some of my favorite books that I have ever read. This list hardly changes, and I did have a couple adds to it this year. So that is super exciting. And without further ado, I will start with the first one that made this list, and that was A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. I read this in February of 2021. So that is technically when this list kind of became a thing, because this became my all-time favorite book in the whole entire world. Um, I sat down one night. I did not want to read this book. If you know ACOTAR, okay, you'll get it. I hated Nesta, hated her, loathed her. I waited 2 months after finishing A Court of Frost and Starlight before I read this book. So I sat down one night. I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get it over with. I'm going to do it. I sat down, read it in 8 hours. This was a one sitting book for me. And like, think back on that, I'm like, that was actually insane, because like, this is not this is not a small book. Like, this is almost 800 pages. But I saw a lot of myself in Nesta. Like, I sobbed probably 75% of this book. I loved it so much. I probably couldn't tell you too much about it anymore, because I have the brain of a pea, and I read something and I immediately forget it. But I remember how it made me feel, and I do plan to reread the ACOTAR series before the next book, so we don't have to worry about my memory for too much longer. The next book is also part of a series, and that is Zodiac Academy, specifically number 5, Cursed Fates. That's this book. It is, I don't know why, it is my favorite one in the series. And funny enough, the sign that is on this book is Pisces. Love that. I excessively have been tabbing the Zodiac Academy series, and once I'm finished, I do plan to make a video on how I annotated the series, but it's taking me a really long time. Like, there's a lot going on in these annotations, but Tori and Darius are my favorite in the Zodiac Academy world, and if you know what happens at the end of 4, you kind of have an idea of what Cursed Fates is about. There's a lot of pining in this book, and like a lot of making up to do, and I think that's just why I loved it so much, because like you got so much more, you got to see so much more of how these characters actually really love each other. If you saw my thumbnail, there is a little black cat in one of the corners of my thumbnail. She is my office library cat. She just loves it in here. But anyways, she is literally the love of my life in cat form. I love her so much. She's actually right over here, but she's sleeping. Her name is Vega Acrux. So she is actually named after Darius and Tori. And I do have her brother, and he is named Blue Orion after Lance and Darcy. So if you know, you know. She is a little black cat, and he's black and white. That was just another random thing about me. I love cats. I have 11 cats. I know, it's crazy. These next 2 are by my favorite author in the whole world. They are my absolute favorite, and I don't see that changing anytime in the future. I really, really don't. And if you see my little collection over here, my favorite author is Penelope Douglas. I don't know which one of these I read first. I read them in the same year. So I'm just going to go with the series one. So this is Nightfall by Penelope Douglas. It is the 4th book in the Devil's Night series. I also have 2 cats named after this series, not specifically this book, but I have a Rika Lynn and Kai Fane. Rika is gray and Kai is an orange cat. If you guys ever want to meet my cats, just like let me know in the comments, because I will take one comment and I'll be like, okay, bet. Like, I'm annoying about my cats, but I try to like only be more annoying about it unless I'm asked. But anyways, this book is also a chonker. Like, literally almost every single one of these books are humongous. Don't know how I have that much headspace to like sit and like read these and love them. But I do. I love big books. Like, I do. I love big books, and I can't lie about that, honestly. Anyways, I, out of the 4 horsemen, Will Grayson III, the love of my life. I love him. I saw a lot of myself in him as well. That's all I can really say. Like, this series is my favorite series, number 1 series out of everything I've read. And I've read a lot of fucking books, okay? I really have. And so Devil's Night is my number 1 series, and I don't think that will ever change. I really, really don't. This is my shrine. You can't even see it all, but this top area is my Penelope Douglas shrine. And then the next one is one of Penn's standalones, kind of. Like, it's in the world of other books, but it is Tryst 6 Venom. This is a sapphic bully romance. Another thing you need to know about me is that I love bully romances. The first book I ever read by Penn was Punk 57, which is also a bully romance. And I love that book. It has a very special place in my heart, especially as my first Penn book. But this book has my heart. I love it so much. I think this is I ordered it off Pen's website, so it is signed, and then I have a couple of, I have my special edition and then the new cover over there. Um, but yeah, anyways, Tryst Venom. If you love sapphic romances, bully romances, then I recommend this one. I will say that these girls are in high school, and I know that can sometimes bother people, but this is my number one sapphic romance. And then also on the topic of sapphic romances, I do not have this next book physically, but luckily I do have the first book in the series, which I equally love. I wouldn't consider the first book on my list, but I really, really, really love it. And that is Come Out by Alexia, Onyx. And the one that does need to be on this list is Warmer Colder by Alexia, Onyx. I actually got a advanced reader copy of this book, and it is released, so you can read it. It's the paperbacks are not live on Amazon yet, so I'm kind of waiting for that. But I loved this book. It is a dark, paranormal, sapphic romance. I don't need to say anymore. It was amazing. And I also really loved the first one. The first one is very, very good. It gives Tate and Violet from American Horror Story Murder House vibes. So if you like that, then check this one out. It is also a paranormal dark romance. And I do have one more book for you. This is also a new add to my list. Warmer, Colder, and this book were both added to this list this December 2024. This year, I decided to read the whole entirety. Entirety? I don't know if I'm saying that right. I read the whole entire Renaverse this year. Well, kind of. I'm on the last book right now, but out of, I think there's like 32 books in the Renaverse, only one of them made it into this list, and that is God of Fury. And this is the book that is also on my thumbnail with my little kitty. I loved this. I was a little nervous. This is a MM dark romance. I've read MM books in the past. Absolutely nothing wrong with them. I enjoy them. I just kind of have a hard time connecting with the main characters. This book, oh my god, I think about it and I want to cry. I am so obsessed with it. It was so good. Um, but anyways, that was kind of a stock of my favorite books. And I think this is where I'm going to end the video. If you stuck around and watched the entirety of this video, I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And if you have any like comments or like suggestions, just drop them in the comments. And like I said, my anticipated posting schedule is every Tuesday and every Saturday. So feel free to subscribe to my channel. And if you like this video, make sure to give it a like and a comment.